What really happened in that house the night Dee Dee Blanchard was murdered? Hey guys, do me a favor before we get started. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to share out the content if you know someone who may enjoy it. I really, really do appreciate all the support you guys have been given. And I see you. Today, I wanted to talk about Gypsy Rose. Yes, you guys know that I spoke about Gypsy Rose for a very long time. And so here we are. I'm back at it again. Why? Well, because I got a lot of people in my comment section asking me to talk about certain things, asking me questions. They're all new to the information. So I figured that I would go ahead and give my responses. One of the things that I truly want to go over and cover and create a timeline for is what happened in that house the night Dee Dee was murdered. From the time that Nicholas Godejohn got to that door until the time that Nicholas and Gypsy got into the cab to leave that house. I want to talk about everything that happened in that house that night. Now, we know that Gypsy gives one timeline. We know that Nick gives another. Neither one of them line up. So I really want to delve into what happened in the house that night. I feel like that's an extremely important part of all of it, right? Because that was the murder itself. Now, there are so many questions that even I have about what actually went on that night, right? Was Gypsy really in the bathroom hiding? If she was, how long was she in that bathroom hiding? Did Gypsy participate in the stabbing of Dee Dee Blanchard? Was Dee Dee alive when Nicholas Godejohn got to that house that night? So many questions, even about what happened after Dee Dee was supposedly dead in that bedroom. What happened in Gypsy's bedroom afterwards? Why was Gypsy packing up stuff and throwing it in the garbage from the house? One of the biggest questions that I have about that night, and if y'all know me, you know that this is just one of those things I can't let go. Dee Dee's body was left in that bed. There was blood all over the house. It was obvious that a murder happened there as soon as somebody walked in that house, right? What was Gypsy scrubbing off the carpet that night? What was she scrubbing off the carpet and why? That is one of those questions that I need to have an answer for. It's just one of those questions I cannot let go. So these are all of the questions I feel like need to be answered. Now, there are certain things that evidence backs up, and then the rest would all be speculation. But for me, I think it would be truly interesting to see what both sides said, see what evidence we have, and then build a timeline that makes sense about what possibly could have happened that night. I feel like there's so much speculation out there. Now, I'm not going to call anything misinformation because, again, we only have evidence or facts about certain things. And the rest, again, is everybody's guess. It's all their opinions, right? But I really want to go through what I believe did happen, what I believe did not happen. I mean, just looking at the timeline from the text from Nick's phone, from the time he got there to the time he texted Stephanie from the kitchen, it was such a short period of time. And supposedly a lot happened in that time. So I want to go through that. I want to go through what actual evidence was in that house. Why did they leave the money in the safe? Why was some of the money left in the safe? It's just so many questions. And so, yeah, I feel like that would be really interesting for me to come up with a timeline, to take what we know as fact and really try to recreate a plausible timeline of what could have potentially happened. Now, people are going to come at me in my comments. I already see it because I know so many of you believe that she was dead when Nick got there. I don't believe that. That's not to say I know it for a fact. However, evidence shows that Dee Dee was absolutely alive when Nick showed up. And so we can cover that. I know so many people want Gypsy to be a participant in the actual stabbings. But what is the evidence saying? What does the evidence point towards? That is just something that I've been dying to go through for a really long time. I really want to go and just gather up all of the information we have and have a really big discussion on what we think happened the night in the house. Because there's so many variations. And again, I'm not going to sit there and say that anybody else's variation is wrong. However, I really want to come up with my own, try and give the evidence and the actual facts as much support as I can, keep emotion out of it, and just truly look into it and see what I believe happened in that house between them and Dee Dee, between Nick and Gypsy. I don't know. I feel like that for me would give me a starting point on all of the rest. Because really, at the end of the day, in my opinion, what happened that night in that house is the most important part of it all, because that was the crime itself. And so that is where my attention always came back to. We all remember the dryer sheets on the bed thing. And so I've always really been intrigued by that timeline. What is the timeline? What could the timeline be? Who was involved? Was somebody else there? All of the things. Who were they messaging? What was she doing in the bathroom if she was in the bathroom? What garbage was disposed of from the house? What door did Nick come in? All of that, I think, would be really interesting to cover, to really go over in depth and really pull a timeline of what I believe happened that night. And again, giving as much support to whatever evidence we have from that night. So again, if you guys are on board with this, let me know in the comments. If I suggest something that you don't believe, guys, to each his own. Everybody is entitled to their opinion of what happened. There's not as much fact or evidence as we would like. And so everything else is speculation after that. So I'm not saying what you believe is not the truth. I'm not saying what I believe is the only way. Again, you guys know it's okay to have a difference of opinion. And I really like to hear from you guys and your input if you don't agree, because we want to try and make an honest timeline of what we really believe could have factually happened. So I don't know. It just sounds interesting to me. Let me know in the comment section if you're on board, if this interests you. Let me know if it doesn't interest you. Let me know if you have any questions that you want to ask that we can go through and try and answer from that night. And so I will be putting that out. And then eventually I'm going to hold a big live, guys, where we can all talk about it and discuss it. So that's my plan right now with the Gypsy Rose case. So guys, that's all I got for you today. I'm Ivory Rose Nose, and there's that.